Hey everyone, it's the beginning of September 3rd, I think, and I thought maybe we should take a look at the flowers in the garden. As you can see behind me, the sunflowers have turned out almost as I imagined, although I must say I imagined all the tall ones would be like at the edges of the garden and they're in the middle, but it's still pretty fantastic. So there's a few other flowers that are doing really well, and I just wanted to show you guys what's happening. We've shown this bed a few times. I feel like this bed really suffers from the roots of these trees that are here. These are on the neighbor's side. It's a great, it blocks the view, it blocks the sound. It's really nice for privacy, but the roots have come in and this bed really sucks up all the moisture. So it is a little bit difficult to grow things, but things have survived well. There's a couple dahlias in here, dinner plate dahlias. That white one's head is flopping over. They're actually from last year. We tried to dig up all the tubers and apparently we're not successful. So there are still some in there. My favorite Gerberer baby has made it through another summer. These do come back for us, so they are perennial here. If I could get them, the really big ones, to grow, that would be really cool. And then we have the poor man's orchid. That is the dead looking flower there at the end, but it was spectacular for so long. We got those seeds from Bouchard Gardens. And then there are some zinnias that I planted from seed. These multicolored petunias that I planted from seed. And it actually looks like this guy is sending up a new shoot. So I think it's going to flower again. That's pretty cool. Now, one of the problems that I've had here, it's got this fence. I'm like, oh, this is perfect for growing sweet peas. But because the trees suck up so much moisture, I can't even get, even if I have plants, they just don't grow. So instead, I put them in these pots, and that has been much more successful. And they are still blooming. Granted, these got planted late, but they are still blooming, and I'm going to cut off some of these flowers today for a bouquet. Clive has some guests this weekend from England, so we've done a bit of cleanup. I got rid of my favorite petunia in that bucket that was in the front there where you see the dirt stain. So that's gone. We just clean up a little bit here. Got some zinnias in a pot. My coxcomb flowers are pretty darn cool. They're starting to look really neat. They seem to flop over when they get big, so maybe I need to do something different. I don't know. These are very red. One thing I'm kind of happy about is that the alyssum has started showing up in funny places. Now, alyssum is real easy to pull out if you don't like where it is, but it's super cute. And we've got lots along here in this bed here. So this is the left-hand bed. There's lots of white and purple alyssum. Makes a beautiful edging. Well, let's go in this left-hand bed and see what's happening. So up close, this is some Nicotania, I believe is what it's called. And then back there are some, I believe, just wild, I don't remember planting those little daisy looking things. I have no idea. Now, these beautiful flowers come from Roxanne. Thank you so much, Roxanne. It works perfectly in this garden with all the blues and the purples. I've got some zinnias in here. Love the zinnias. Still loving the zinnias. The flower baskets really need to be taken out of here because they look like sad. I've got things I can put in there. That's a great idea. Okay. This is not sea holly. I have to change the card. I've got to go look again and see what it is. This tree is very happy here now. Zinnias in the back, and the little ball flower dahlias. Some more alyssum. Again, great ground cover. You can see all this other greenery. Those are weeds. Jason's tried to take them out. Doesn't work. purple and white salvia. This is from last year, actually. We did not plant this year. It came back. More dahlia. Problem with these dahlias is that the little bugs get in there and eat them before they bloom. I believe it's, yeah, so they like rot and they don't, yeah, they don't bloom, all of them. So I try to clip those when I can because there's bugs in there. The lipstick salvia, never did cut that back. Up in the front, this is my experiment for basil. These were all little tiny plants that I pulled out of a plant that I bought at the grocery store. What I didn't think about is the fact that there's a bird bath right here. And then there's this, it's technically a shrub, but we grow it as a tree. And all the birds like to sit here, and then they like to go in the bird bath. And then they like to come sit here, and they poop all over the basil. So I never picked it, because I was like, that seems like a lot of work. So I just let it go to seed. The flowers are nice. Yes, birdie. Carrying on here, there's a really pretty dahlia back there. It's a beautiful pink color. Gets no sun. It really should be moved. These flowers are also from Roxanne. We bought some more blueberry bushes and we transplanted them into pots for now. Back there, I've got some more sweet peas. I tried to grow them up there. Not enough sun for them. They haven't done well. This is what remains of the voodoo lilies. The pods on them are super cool. I do need to kind of trim them. They look scraggly. I think if I cut, they would look pretty cool. And it looks like they're going to turn orange. The false indigo doesn't get enough sun. It's going to get moved. The monk's hood looks a little bit wild, and I can trim that today and maybe move that too. And last but not least, we planted a couple of unlabeled squash in here. And there's even a little guy on there. Pumpkin? Not sure. So one cool flower we have coming up right now is a crocus. These are fall crocuses. And we imported these from the apartment that we live in. They have a bunch of them and they were just going to kill them. So I imported them here. There's more there. I might bring some more over. Wildflower garden bed. Looking a bit scraggly. There's something that's about to bloom here and I don't know what it is. But it doesn't matter because there's these sunflowers. Over here in the fruit garden, you can see back there, there's some asters. I think they're asters. China asters, I believe they're called. Struggling to get to some sun. They're pretty cute though. Scabiosas. The bees really like those. And look at that pink. It's beautiful. It's just a bit wild back here. So I like to call this the cut flower garden. You can't really see it that much from the patio. So if you cut flowers over here, nobody cares. This guy caps off the end of the cut flower bed there on the left hand side. And you can see him from the patio. You can see him from space. Here in the vegetable garden, I do have lots of flowers. I have some awesome marigolds. I've got some super cool zinnias. More China asters. China aster over here. I should have trimmed these. I didn't realize until it was too late. Kind of like mums. I think if you trim them like mums, they get bushy. I just didn't bother. And some salvia. Didn't grow that from seed. Here is another aster. Zinnia. Sunflower. Lots of flowers in our garden, including that mess. There's tomatoes, peppers, onions, ground cherries, rutabaga, basil that's gone to seed. I let that go to seed. That was on purpose. The bees love it. Beans, squash, and zinnias. Over here in the left-hand garden, it still looks really good. Oh, look, that looks really good. It still looks good even from a distance, even though when you get close, you can see how faded the flowers are. But still, from the patio, the colors of this garden looks great. So really something to be said for having those swaths of colors that are farther away that you wouldn't necessarily get close to. One cool thing in this particular garden are the straw flowers. I had some extra straw flowers that I started from seed. This one is getting taller than me. Here in the Japanese maple garden, with the Japanese maple that didn't make it, some rethink is going to happen here. We're going to need something tall and interesting to put here, and Japanese maples are horrendously expensive, so that won't be that. But the dahlia here on the left-hand side, it's the same kind as the dahlia here on the right-hand side. But this one flowered early, and I cut it all back, and now it's flowering again, whereas this guy is still on its first flowering. So I got no explanation for that at all. Over here in the rest of the right-hand garden, you can see that there are some foxgloves. Lots of foxgloves that were sown last year, came up as plants this year. I think this is how this works. And will bloom next year? Question mark? Is that how long it takes? Anyway, this is a ridiculous amount of foxgloves. We're going to move some of these and find a better place for them. They'll look better. It'll look weird to have such big foxgloves here. So I do have more foxgloves that will bloom next year over here. Might leave them. And then there's this. Again, bit of a mess, but from a distance looks great. So one of the things to think about, doesn't have to be perfect when you get close up if really your guests don't get close up. The fuchsia is a ramshackle. I tried to wrangle it up. Anyway, but then there's also this fuchsia here. Super cute. And that is the Japanese painted fern. This is the little impromptu garden that I put in. I'd planted some sunflowers here. The teddy bear sunflowers. I think there's two kinds of teddy bear sunflowers. There's the tall ones and the short ones. These are the short ones. And they're kind of fading away, but they still look pretty cute. That's a nice little yellow corner. We're over here in the tomato bed. It used to be called the artichoke bed because this was the only plant that was here. The first year we grew artichokes, we didn't pick them. We just let them do their thing, and this is the thing that they do. There's no bees here right now, but when it's sunny and warm, this is where all the bees come to snuggle. I'll try to show that again on a sunnier day, but the camera does not pick up the fact that this is a really light purple. It doesn't even look real. That's the flowers for September. Things are starting to wind down, but I think that we've done a pretty good job of making sure that we have flowers all the time in the garden. They still look good. The zinnias are great. Man, I cannot say enough about zinnias in terms of having them in the garden. They're great summer and fall flowers. If I'd taken care of the asters, those would probably have looked better too, but not bad. So I hope everyone is having a wonderful time and you're enjoying your garden as much as we are. And we'll see you guys later. Thanks so much for watching and commenting. If you have any questions, you can pop them down below. I'm going to try to add some names of plants, which I just gapped on the whole time. So I'll have to add them as I go. Thanks, guys.